welcome to episode 47 of the Reboot franchise. Last week we took a loss and we need to get over that. We allowed 6 sacks and we need to get better than that. We're not blaming the offensive line for that one because they are pretty good. Well, actually, they're very close to very good. So it's about working out how we can avoid taking so many sacks. But now let's get into the rest of the stuff. Let's scout these college players first off, and then let's get into next week. So we finished off the right tackles, and right at the end, firstly, how did I miss DT Booty? Great, but secondly, Scott Fielder, the last guy we looked at, he is also good enough for us, of course, depending on the bench press. But that means we move on to the inside linebackers, a place we always like to look. And Algernon Basket, pretty good name. I'm sure he'll be good, but we won't get a touch on him. And if we see someone here, it's always nice to have depth at that position, although we are pretty set up there with Jaleel King, who's really barely ever on the field. Pretty strong inside linebackers. But, you know, it's always worth picking up someone here if they're good, because you can play him outside linebacker. You can do a bunch of stuff with them. So always looking at the inside linebackers, always looking at the outside linebackers, never stopping looking at cornerbacks. That's for later though. So here we go, week 12, and we're playing against the 1-9 Raiders. Something there has gone terribly wrong for that team, and we'll find out maybe when we take a look at the team. But 1-9 just doesn't seem right. When a good team goes 1-9, or a team that should be good goes 1-9, the first thing I do is I take a look at the injury report. And it's clean, it's empty, there's nobody on it. I don't know, outside of just having a bad team now, why they will be 1-9, but we know they've got good young players. So what's going on? So Raiders quarterback Derek Carr, 94 overall, clearly not the problem. Running back Carter Corto, 95 overall, clearly not the problem. The fullback, Parrish Rowland, second-year player, 87 overall. The wide receivers, Amari Cooper, 97 overall. Christian Kaburski, 82 overall. Ishmael Trent, 81, 82. That's clearly not the problem either, the wide receiver position. A 97 speed on that 82 wide receiver there. Eric Zauber is an 81 overall tight end. Jared Cook, 80. Maybe that's the weak spot, but I doubt it. Left tackle, David Sharp, 85 overall. Left guard, Kelechi Semele, 86 overall. It's a little lower than we maybe expect. Maybe there's the problem. His stats are going down. Rodney Hudson, I was about to say Rodney Houston, 85 overall. Again, don't think he's the problem. Gabe Jackson, 89 overall. Now, all of their passing stats are down, clearly not feeling it with confidence. Everett Ryan, 86 overall, and our guys are going to make it difficult for them to feel confident again. Left end, Quinton Coples, 80 overall. So that's a little bit weaker. Right end, Mario Edwards Jr., 88 overall, strong again. Defensive tackle, Javon Hargrave, 84 overall. Ashawn Robinson, 82 overall. And they're going to be playing, I think, a 3-4 though. Unless, well, you never know with Khalil Mack. I think it's probably a 4-3. They like to, in this game, put him all over the place. 99 overall, 99 awareness. I assume it's a 4-3. Anthony Hitchens, the inside linebacker, 83 overall, if not Corey James as well. Alden Smith, 86 overall, still on the game, still kicking around. The cornerbacks, David Emerson, 86 overall. Garyon Conley, 86 overall. Fernando Randall L, then 78 overall, so that drops off a little bit. Free safety, Howard Carter, third-year player, 85 overall, and the strong safety, Carl Joseph, 95 overall. I do not know why this team is 1-9. We're certainly not looking at them as a 1-9 team, because that roster is incredibly strong. There's some places to take advantage of the fact that the offensive line aren't that confident at the moment, and we have a crazy pass rush, as we always do. That's our top priority, making sure we pressure the other quarterback. But I don't know, why they're bad, but this team certainly is set up to take advantage of it, and let's go and do exactly that. So before we get into this game, let's take a look at the playoff picture, and you can see plenty of teams hot on our tail, and more importantly, plenty of teams in our division hot on our tail. Only one win behind, so of course this game is important, and hopefully we will get another win here against the Raiders to increase that gap a little bit. Now the Raiders starting with a pass, which we don't see too often, and they start with a first down from that pass. Now 2nd and 10, they go with a run. Carter Corto not picking up any yards on his first 2 attempts, but they go back to the pass for another first down. Amari Cooper with a reception that time. 1st and 10, again trying Corto, still not picking anything up, and on 3rd and 9, Carr back to pass, looking around, trying to throw it into the flat to Corto, but Rashard Peters was there takes the ball. Rashad Peters, Derek Carr in a foot race. It's a race that Peters is undoubtedly going to win, and Rashad Peters starts this game with a pick 6. They were moving down the field, but Peters shuts that one down. Make this guy Defensive Player of the Year, please. We see him here. He's just perfectly in his zone. He's not doing anything special. He's just there waiting for it. Derek Carr should have never thrown it, but he threw it right as he turned around, came back across the field, and just should have given up on that play. 1st and 10 now. Corto finally finding some yards down the field here. Rashad Peters looking to get him out of bounds, and he does. 3rd and 2 now. They try and go with an end around with a receiver, but Rashad Bass is there stopping that one. So we get the ball back, 1st and 10, and we're letting David Johnson do some of the work today, just in the regular offense. No Wildcats so far, and David Johnson making the most of it here, running through people, cutting it upfield and not slowing down when he meets Carl Joseph there. We'll take a look at it in slow motion. You can see the impact he comes, only stopped because luckily another defender managed to come into it for him, but almost took that one all the way, and then giving it to David Johnson here on a screen, letting him finish it off with the 7-yard reception for the touchdown. Back to David Johnson again and again, running through Carl Joseph. That man is going to need a big ice pack in between defensive drives right now. 2nd and 10 going deep downfield for George Connor, who gets the reception. And now with the lead already of 14-10, we're now at the 24-yard line, giving the ball here to Trayvon Bromley, who takes it inside the 10. 2nd and 6 at the 7 now, and David Johnson with another screen, again not being touched, and is in for another touchdown. The score now 20-0 with this extra point, but it's not good. It's blocked. Carl Joseph picks it up, runs into his own player, gets tackled. He doesn't get tackled by Kurt Weeks, still has a chance to go, and now Carl Joseph is going to take this one back for 2 points. There was a lot going on that blocked extra point attempt, but they managed to take it back for the 2 points. So the score now 20-2. Raiders offense back on the field, but straight away it's a sack by Tyus Bowser, slowing that one down, and it's his 10th sack of the season. So we get the ball back, 2nd and 10 now. Not long left in this game, but a good pass there to Ashley Stokes, giving us a chance to get into field goal range, which we unfortunately didn't do as we enter the second half here, with the score still 20-2. And on 3rd and 8, Philip Vandiak going deep downfield for George Connor. The reception, a 53-yard reception for George Connor, and now we're in the Wildcat, just handing the ball off to Trayvon Bromley, who's got some space around the outside. Couldn't run through that man though, takes a big hit up top, and now David Johnson runs straight through those defenders, in for the touchdown. The flag on the field, however, is holding, sets up this 3rd and 14, going into the middle. Dangerous pass between 2 guys, but it's a catch for a touchdown by Ashley Stokes. And to be fair, we call it dangerous, but it was pinpoint accuracy, put it exactly where it needed to be. No one else except for Ashley Stokes was going to touch that ball. Now the score 27-5, and George Connor wide open for another touchdown. The Raiders offense cannot move the ball, and the Raiders defense cannot stop us moving the ball, and George Connor there just ran straight past a single deep safety. He was the only man going deep, and he just ran past the guy, even though he was waiting for him. And now the Raiders trying to get something going here on 3rd and 4. They try a screen, but Darrington Boyle is in for the sack. And now 4th and 15, Derek Carr moving out to the right, but there's nobody there for him, and he ends up taking this sack. And that gives us the ball back at the 31-yard line. A sack by Hunter Washington sets up this opportunity to start running out the clock, but David Johnson just won't be stopped, and he gets down to the 1-yard line there. We do end up grinding down the clock, only settling for a field goal, leaving them with 7 minutes. 1st and 10, they tried going across the field there, not much happening with Gilbert Turner on the tackle. 1st and 10 for the Raiders, now going deep over the middle, and it's another reception. We've been letting them get plenty of those, and it's Gilbert Turner again, a little bit slow at the moment. He needs to start working on that pretty quickly, get back to his old form. 3rd and 9 now. They go for the run there, and it just doesn't work at all. Tim Williams stopping them. They settle for a field goal. We get the ball back again in good position here. David Johnson not being stopped whatsoever today, and then we take the knee here, and we will take the win home from Oakland. Actually, after that game, I kind of see how they were 1-9. They weren't necessarily bad. Well, defense, actually, they weren't very good at all, but they weren't that bad. They just weren't very good. So, what did we do? Passing, we got 259 yards, 73% completion percentage, 4 touchdowns. We also, we tried the Wildcat again, didn't achieve anything with it. Of course, no yards gained. But David Johnson, 19 attempts, 101 yards. No rushing touchdowns for him today. Very close a couple of times. Philip Vandiak got a couple of yards. Trayvon Bromley got 20 yards. Receiving, George Connor, 5 receptions, 171 yards, and a touchdown. David Johnson, 427, 2 touchdowns. Ashley Stokes, 351 touchdown. Kurt Weeks with a reception, and Nate Palmer with 1. Blocking perfect, no sacks allowed. I said we got to get better at that, and we did get better at that. Defensively, let's take a look. Rashad Peters leading the team with 9 tackles, then Hunter Washington with 8, and then we get down to the 5s. Sacks, 1 by Darrington Boyle, 1 by Mike Richardson, 1 by Tyus Bowser, and by Hunter Washington. An interception returned 89 yards for a touchdown by Rashad Peters. Make this guy, or make Hunter Washington defensive MVP already. So with that game out of the way, some college players to scout. So we took a look at the rest of the linebackers, and there weren't any good ones. So now it would be on to the running backs, but more than ever before. That is, of course, completely unnecessary. We've got a 99 rated running back. Don't think we really need to get ourselves one here this year. So it's on to my favorite position ever. It's the cornerbacks, where we never get the good one, except for one time. We did get Casey Jacobs, and he was, you know, a diamond in the rough, but I'd like another one, please. There's got to be one here. Look at all these third rounders. One of these guys has got to be the superstar. So Dejon Halsey is a great example of exactly what we're looking for. One of those coverages has got to be B, the other one has got to be C+ or better, so he can go on the list. Obviously, it doesn't look that great for the highest rated guy, but remember, the best cornerback we ever had was also a run support corner, so you never know. So Andrew Sam's another guy added to our list, taking a look at the rest, hopefully. Come on, there's another guy that potentially could be good, but I'm looking for, that's obviously not good. I'm looking for that superstar, and right now he's not here. Maybe in the 4th round, maybe he'll appear right here. This is the guy. I'm glad it's not, because that name would have been a pain to say every time. However, Will Phillips is not a pain to say, and he is good enough. So a big divisional matchup here. Every single one of our division rivals is hot on our tail at 6-5. We're obviously only at 8-3, which is good, but could be better. But let's take a look. No, let's not take a look at the Bengals. We know what the Bengals look like. Let's take on the Bengals and make ourselves 9-3, make them 6-6, and start to put that separation in there. We're the 2nd seed in the AFC right now, but we need to keep winning games so it stays that way. There is nothing quite like a divisional game, and the Bengals, more than any other divisional opponent, I feel like have been causing us more problems in recent years. 1st and 10 there, the Bengals going for a pass on their first play, and on 3rd and 6, they're looking to pass again, but Hunter Washington comes in with the sack. So 2nd and 10, it's not a reception, that's 3 incomplete passes of 3 attempts. Van Dyke with some early problems, but on 3rd and 11 here for the Bengals, Andy Dalton managing to run out. Tyus Bowser does well. It's Mike Richardson trying to catch him. Who knows where Tyus Bowser was? 3rd and 11, and they go for Tyler Eifert here trying to get the first down, but Keywan Hardwick stops him, so they settle for the field goal. 3-0 right now, and we're just giving the ball now to David Johnson. Let him work some of this out. 2nd and 5, Philip Van Dyke taking a sack, not really seeing anybody open. The pass game struggling right now. Van Dyke back to pass again, rolling out to the left, in some trouble, checks it down to David Johnson, who makes a man miss, picks up the first down. That is why you put it in the hands of David Johnson if you're struggling to get going offensively. 2nd and 1 now, Van Dyke, one thing he can definitely do is run himself, and he does that, loses the ball still in bounds right now, but finally the wind takes it out of bounds, and we go for a field goal here, which rarely we see that happen, goes wide right, so we don't get any points, but we were able to stop their offense, and we get a chance here, and finally a reception there by somebody else, and then we're going to the Wildcat. Trayvon Bromley here, running around the outside, getting away from that man, making another one miss, picking up a few extra yards than he may have done, but we had to settle for another field goal. So the score right now tied at 3 apiece, but Marlon Humphrey there all over AJ Green, not letting him make that catch. 3rd and 10, Andy Dalton running out to the right again, but Andy Dalton this time is hit, loses the ball. It is recovered by the Bengals, but it sets up the 4th down. We get the ball back, 2nd and 2, and it's a completion over the middle to Ashley Stokes. His speed just helping him on that slant. 3rd and 12, Van Dyke in trouble, and he is sacked by Jordan Willis. Bruce not able to handle him, but the score now 6-3. Dalton running out to that right side again taking a hit, again losing the ball, and Tyus Bowser picks up the fumble after Keywan Hardwick forces the fumble, as we'll see here. Just a big hit, putting his helmet on the ball, and Tyus Bowser recovering that fumble. 1st and 10 now for the offense, in a good position here, struggling to move the ball themselves, and they get the first down there with George Connor, and then David Johnson will finish that one off into the end zone for the touchdown. So now the score 13-3, and Andy Dalton losing the ball again recovered by the Bengals, and now in our final kick, it's a 66-yard field goal attempt that rolls over the crossbar. That's good for 3. That'll make the score 16-3 as we enter the second half here, but Justin Bruce was just run over by Jordan Willis, absolutely pancaked, and Van Dyke takes the sack. Not much he could have done about that. 3rd and 4 for the Bengals, trying to throw it over the middle there. You can see Andy Dalton is worried about taking another hit right now. So the 1st and 10 to David Johnson, spins away from one man, picks up the first down, gets out of bounds. But the big thing is here, the injury timeout that is for David Johnson. David Johnson down on the side of the field. It's not what you want to see, and now Trayvon Bromley having to step in, but cannot do anything more than pick up a couple of inches. 3rd and 9. Van Dyke back to pass, going over the middle to Kurt Weeks, gets it. And now back to Trayvon Bromley. We had the chance to bring David Johnson back, but we said no. We want Bromley on the field. And now Trayvon Bromley running with purpose. Trayvon Bromley getting the touchdown. When he had to fill in for David Johnson because of injury, he didn't play well. The second we choose to play him, he does this. 2 big plays and a touchdown. 1st and 10 now for the Bengals. Andy Dalton looking to pass left, completes to AJ Green, but Marlon Humphrey forces the ball out. It's a fumble. Covered by Hunter Washington, who can still get up and move. Gets tackled again there. We'll take the look. A great hit by Marlon Humphrey to force that out. He has absolutely taken AJ Green out of this game today. 1st and 10 now for the offense, and Philip Van Dyke going deep for George Connor with the catch in the end zone, laying out for it. His 5th receiving touchdown of the season. Not a bad number for a guy like Jarvis Landry, but not as many as George Connor would want at this point in the season. And now on 1st and 10, the Bengals going deep downfield. Dalton getting a completion there. And 1st and 10 at the 23-yard line, and it's a sack by Tyus Bowser. 3rd and 19, and it's a sack by Tyus Bowser. That's his 4th of the game. We get the ball back here. 3rd and 9, 30-3 the score, and now George Connor's just absolutely wide open after a guy misses the tackle, and George Connor is in for another touchdown. So it's his 6th of the season now. 37-3 the score right now. Andy Dalton trying that right side again, this time just taking a sack, nothing more. But that's the 5th sack of the game and the 15th sack of the season for Tyus Bowser. 2nd and 3, David Johnson here looking for a big play. It's a pretty big play, but it could have been even bigger. Finally brought down. 1st and 10, trying again, trying to truck people, but just nobody wants that action. And David Johnson is going to just walk into the end zone. He's looking for the contact, and people are looking to avoid the contact. David Johnson with a big touchdown run there. 44-3 the score. Andy Dalton running out to the left here before he's finally sacked. A combination of Lakeith Spain and somebody else. 2nd and 4, looking for the run. This time Giovanni Bernard with a good spin move and getting a touchdown. So the Bengals do score a touchdown. The score now 44-10, and we're running out the clock here as we hit the 2-minute warning. David Johnson just getting the clock, running out duties. The problem is David Johnson not great at running out the clock, great at running over people. And on 3rd and goal, wriggling out of that tackle and getting into the end zone. What else is he supposed to do at this point? If he's not going to be tackled, of course he's going to keep moving in a straight line, and we get the touchdown, and that puts our total over 50 points in the game. 51-10 the score with 25 seconds left in this game as Andy Dalton goes to the right again, as he's been doing all game long, and takes another sack. 3rd and 13 for the final play of the game here, and that one will be picked off by Kevin Hagler. Oh yeah, the first 50 burger of the season. I like that. So let's take a look at exactly how we did it. And I only saw late in the game. I didn't realize these stats were going to be this ridiculous. I don't actually remember this pass attempt with David Johnson at all. This game's where it seemed to have went on forever. Gave us plenty of time to get 51 points. Philip Van Dyke, 220 yards, 65% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns. Very nice, good day. But David Johnson, 19 attempts, 191 yards, 3 touchdowns. 191 yards. 9 short of 200, plenty short of the all-time record for a single game, but you know, 191 is very nice. Didn't realize that was that high. If you would have got these off Trayvon Bromley, it would have been even better. Receiving, David Johnson with another 56 yards on 5 receptions. George Connor 3 for 94, 2 touchdowns today, and then a bunch of receptions spread all about the place. Let's take a look. Blocking, we'll add a couple of sacks. This one sack allowed by Justin Bruce was when he got absolutely pancaked by Jordan Willis. Let's take a look at the tackles, and there will be one category we'll be looking at today, which we usually don't, which will be very busy. But first, tackles. 6 tackles. Hunter Washington, Tyus Bowser leading it. Plenty of sacks today as well. Let's take a look at those. 5 for Tyus Bowser, 1 for Marlon Humphrey, Keon Hando got 1, Hunter Washington got 1, and half a sack for Tim Williams and Lakeith Spain. Interceptions, just the 1 for Kevin Hagler right at the end of that game. Couldn't really see what went on, but it's always nice to get one there. Just, you know, pad your own stats a little bit. And let's take a look at forced fumbles. 2 for Tyus Bowser, 1 for Marlon Humphrey, 1 for Keon Hardwick. 4 forced fumbles today. Fortunately, only 2 fumble recoveries there by Hunter Washington and Tyus Bowser. And I believe, did we not get a touchdown? I thought we did, but never mind. Still, 51 points today. Not bad whatsoever against a divisional rival, and that pretty much ends that rivalry this season. So that ends this episode with 2 wins. We're back on the right track. Of course we were going to be. It wasn't going to take long. Let's just advance to the next week to make sure that the next time we come here that we have actually won that game, and it doesn't just say we never played it. So our next game will be against the Packers, the game after against the Chargers, two interesting teams. And what I want to do right now quickly is just take a look at the players of the week, because I know we got one and I think I just saw it in the news. Not only did we get player of the week, we got double players of the week. AFC offensive player of the week, David Johnson, 19 carries, 191 rushing yards, 10.1 yards per carry, 3 rushing touchdowns, 5 receptions, 56 receiving yards. AFC defensive player of the year, Tyus Bowser, 6 tackles, 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery. Not a bad day in the office for those two guys. And we see there Aaron Rodgers just won AFC, that would be very impressive. Just won NFC offensive player of the week. So clearly those Packers, even at 6-6, are going to be coming at us. 5 passing touchdowns. We'll have to watch out for him.